Hi and Assalamualaikum. We are Group E and we will be presenting about the waste management in restaurant and we focus on the buffet. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Nawar Nabila binti Ramli and my metric number is 194541. Okay, for the first one is the introduction. The definition of restaurant is a place of business that provide a large selection of food and beverages that can be selected from a menu. And there are six types of restaurants. The first one is fine dining, casual dining, family style, fast food, cafe, and buffet. And these are the pictures of the types of the restaurants. Okay, the definition of buffet restaurant is a dining place where guests serve themselves with many types of dishes set out on the table. And from this picture, there are many foods and the customer can choose which food they want and bring the food to their table. Okay, this is the statistic of waste from restaurant in a study by Jeremy Siwa Begum and Abdul in 2017. Restaurants generate 941,608 tons per year, which is 33.35% of total waste generated in Malaysia. Okay, the average Malaysian throws away 1.64 kg of waste daily compared to the worldwide average of 1.2 kg. And the waste production of Malaysia will increase 65% to 17,000 tons per day by 2020. And these are the waste composition in Malaysia. And the highest contributor is food waste for 44.5% and followed by plastic, diapers, sanitary napkins, paper, garden waste, glass, and others. Okay, this is the statistic of waste from buffet restaurant in a study in 2016. The average guest left behind 300 grams of food at the breakfast buffet, 100 grams at the lunch buffet, and 400 grams at the dinner buffet in a five-star hotel in Malaysia. And the total food waste from this case is 800 grams per day. And other than food waste, there are many types of waste and will be presented by other presenter.
Okay, my name is Nur Alia binti Shamsul Kamal with metric number 194212. Today I am going to present about the type of waste produced from the buffet restaurant along with Shafika Akila. First of all, food waste. Food waste can be mostly obtained from the leftover foods, from the preparation of the dishes, such as the fat part of the animals, bones, skin, feathers, or the unused vegetables. Besides, it can also be obtained for the leftover foods that are not finished after the operation ended. Next, paper waste. These are the three items that contribute to the paper waste in buffet restaurant. First is paper towels. Paper towels are mostly used in the kitchen to wipe the plates, the tables. As for the toilet, it is mostly used to dry hands. For the cardboard boxes, it is mostly obtained from buying ingredients in bulk, and for the storage, it is used to store the ingredients. Paper menu that is used to display menu is also a part of the paper waste used in the buffet restaurant. I will be passing to Shafika Akila now.
Hi, my name is Shafika Akila binti Subandi. My metric number 194211. So the types of food waste is plastic bottles and plastic bags. For example, plastic bottles from the oil packaging where the restaurants or buffet use the oil for the cooking, and then that oil is packed in the plastic bottles usually, and certain oil is packed in the plastic bag. So they're same, they're included in the plastic bottles types. And then next is the sauces, seasoning, and also the drink water bottles like in this picture. And plastic bottles where the restaurants sell the drink water bottles in the fridge, or water bottles that they use for beverages or cooking essentials. So next is the plastic bags like this picture. And then plastic bags is from the packaging of raw materials where such as chicken, fish, and meat. where usually the raw material, this material, packed in the plastic bag, and then the plastic bag from the supermarket. Usually, the restaurant uh, use the plastic bags to store the raw materials. Next is a wastewater. Wastewater is a part of the food waste also. For example, chemical waste such as cleaning substance, which is Clorox, detergents, dishwashing soap. And then wastewater also including oil, water, rain, vegetables, grain, meat, and bones. Plastic and napkins are mixed together with it. This, for example, we can see the solid and liquid types of waste has been thrown into the drain, causing the water pollute. And then next is the food residue content proteins, starch, animal fat with high percentage of salt, and oil.
Hi, my name is Ng Wei Kei with metric number 193924. So now I'm going to talk about the techniques that we will be using to handle or manage the waste produced by the Buffet restaurant. So first of all, I will talk about the solid food waste. So actually, restaurant also place the responsibility to handle the food waste. So it is recommended that restaurant staff to separate the food waste manually from the non-food waste like the food packaging waste before they are going to send the waste to the respective authorities. All the waste are collected in bulk and stored in closed container and then later will be sent to the food waste composter. So that means that all the food waste will not be sending to the direct disposal to landfill. However, the food waste is managed through composting technique. So the waste composter assisted in Malaysia are Menteri Alam Eco Sdn Berhad and Promise Earth Sdn Berhad. So in food waste composting center, biological waste treatment is applied, we also can call as the composting technique. Composting is a process in which organic matter is transformed into compost through natural decomposition with the help of the microorganism in the presence of oxygen. So actually there are a lot of compost microorganisms that we are commonly use, such as the fungi and the bacteria. For the composting technique, it can be divided into two types of method, which are the conventional and the advanced method. So for the conventional method of composting, it requires longer time and larger space in order for the composting to be carried out. Besides that, it also can be divided into heat and shallow compartment methods. The reason why conventional method spend more time if compared to the advanced method is food waste are added with the microorganism and then just left to decay for themselves. The end products of the conventional methods are compost and heat. So next, for the advanced method of composting, it is considered as more feasible and more economical method for the food waste management. Composting machine will be using for this advanced method. However, it requires some of the pre-treatments before we are dumping the food waste into the machine. Firstly, we need to drain out the excess water from food waste so that we can enhance the waste structure that we put inside the machine. So next, we need to sort the food waste to remove any non-food waste such as straw, plastic, and the spoon. So by doing these pre-treatments, it can help to enhance and protect the operations of the composting machine. So besides that, screen also need to be installed in composting facility to trap the oil and the grease removed during the pre-treatment or during the operations of the machine. so that the oils will not remove into the drains, which can cause clogging and unpleasant odor. So this diagram shows the basic concept on how composting machine is functioning. So when the food waste are dumping into the machine, it will be crushed into the smaller size to increase the total surface area and homogeneity of compost mixture. By doing this, it can help to accelerate the composting process as well as maintain the optimum temperature for the microbial activity. So it beside that, it also consists of some of the parameters that need to be controlled. First of all, for the oxygen flow, it can enhances the rate of the decomposition. However, when the excess of the oxygen is supplied, it can lead to the waste pile to be dried out and terminate the process. Besides that, enough water is needed for microbial growth and transportation of nutrients from organic food waste to the microbe to sustain their activity and their growth. So, lastly, for the optimum temperature also is very important to enhance the whole process. The composting machine is equipped with the ventilation and the bioenzyme filtration system to remove the undesirable odor produced by the process. So the end products of composting are organic fertilizer, compost, soil conditioner, or animal feeds. So next, I will talk about the used cooking oils. The restaurant staff cannot just remove the used cooking oils to the drains and so on, because the oils can cause clogging to the drains, and then later may cause pest infestation problems to be occur. So the restaurant staff should collect their oils and pour into a sealable container, and then it can send the used oil to the cooking oil recycling center such as the Alam Faras and Dram Berhad. So the used cooking oil actually can be recycled and used to make the soups and the biodiesel. So next, I will talk about the wastewater. From this diagram, you can see that this is what we have already learned during class lecture. So basically, waste treatment consists of few treatments, which are the preliminary, primary, and secondary treatments. However, Malaysia is not ready to focus on the advanced, or we call as a tertiary treatment system, since it is very expensive for us to do so. So first of all, for the preliminary treatments, there are screening, grinding, and grit removal process that we can be carried out. So basically, all these three processes will help us to operate our waste treatment system more efficiently and more effectively. So it also can protect the machine and pipelines from damage or clogging. Next, for the primary treatment, it includes the sedimentation. That means that the high density substances will be sediment at the bottom of the clarifier. However, the oil and the grease will be float at the top of the clarifier. All the substances that sediment at the bottom will then remove and dispose to the landfill. However, for the oil and grease, it will be handled through mechanical skimming devices. So next, for the secondary treatment, it includes the fine bubble diffuse air as standard aeration system and the disinfection. So first of all, the water is pumped into the aeration tank, and inside this aeration tank, it consists of the activated sludge, bacteria, and oxygen. So the bacteria will consume the organic matter and the suspended solid as their food in the water, and so that at the same time it can help us to remove any pollutants or any dirt inside the water. So the sludge will be later collected and sent to the digester. The sludge are then heated at room temperature for 1 month in order to carry out anaerobic digestion. Finally, the starch can turn into the fertilizer. So overall, the end products of this wastewater treatment, we can get the clean water sludge which can be transformed into the fertilizer and other solid waste like the plastic bottles, metals, and polymers, and so on. So now I will pass to Aruni for further explanation on the techniques.
So hi, I'm Aruni. So now I'm going to present on the technique used to manage plastic waste. So commonly, plastic waste is managed by recycling technique. The recycling of plastic is the process of recovering or reprocessing the plastic waste into useful and functional products. There are only 3 types of plastic, which is plastic type 1, 2, and 5 are most practical to recycle in Malaysia. It's recommended for the plastic waste to be segregated first by the restaurant before the waste are collected by the collection companies to the recycling center. So this is the plastic recycling process, which is involve 5 steps. So the detail of every step will be explained in the next page. So the first step is sorting. In the sorting process, the collected plastic waste are sorted based on their resin type, color, size, thickness, or use. Sorting of plastic can be done either by using machine or manually sort. And for the second step, which is washing is the process to get rid of contaminants or impurities such as labels and adhesive from the plastic. And for the third step, which is shredding, during the shredding process, the plastic are cut into small pieces by shredder to make it easier to process and reshape into other products. Okay, fourth step, which is identification. In this step, testing procedure of the shredded plastic particle is to identify their quality and class. And the features like density, air classification, melting point, and color are tested. And for the density test, the plastic particles are put into the large container of water. The zinc particles are considered as denser, while the fluid particles are less dense. And for the air classification test, which is used to determine the thickness of plastic particles, the plastic are being put into a wind tunnel. The thicker or bigger particles will remain at the bottom of the wind tunnel, while the thinner ones will fly higher. The sample of each batch of plastic particle is collected to test their melting point and color. And then the plastic particles are then separated based on their features for further processing. And the last step is melting and pelletizing. The shredded plastic particles are melting down at high temperature, then extruding into pellets, which will be used for manufacturing other useful plastic products. Okay, so next is the technique used to treat paper waste. Okay, paper waste also treated with recycling technique. Recycling of paper is the process of reprocessing discarded paper materials into new paper products. Paper also needed to be segregated by the restaurant first before it is collected and transported by the local recyclers or paper merchants. Okay, so this is the paper recycling process, which involves 6 steps of process. For the first step, sorting, the papers are sorted and separated based on the quality or type of the paper. For example, the very thin lightweight paper like newspapers are separated from the thick paper like paper folders. And for the second step, shredding and pulping. Shredding is the process to cut papers into smaller pieces. The shredded papers are then added with water and chemicals such as hydrogen peroxide, sodium hydroxide, and sodium silicate to break down the fibers of paper. And this mixing resulting a slurry solution which is known as pulp, and this process called as pulping process. For the third step, which is screening, the pulp pushed into screen with holes of different shapes and sizes. It allows the removing of contaminants such as staple, tapes, glue, and paper clips from the pulp. And for the fourth step, which is de-inking, pulp is then placed in the flotation tank where air bubbles used to remove the printing ink. It's called the de-inking process. Then the ink and other particles will be glued themselves to the air bubbles and then float to the top where they will be removed. So the diagram below shows the de-inking schematic, which where it's shown the ink will attach themselves to the air bubble and will be removed out. Okay, for the fifth step, which is bleaching, the pulp is then treated in bleaching process where it is relevant when needed to produce white paper. Hydrogen peroxide and other whitening agents will be added to enhance the whiteness of the new product of paper. So the diagram below shows the difference between the unbleached pulp and bleached pulp. Okay, for the last step, which is drying and rolling, the pulp is put into the press roller to press out excess water. The pulp can be used alone or added with virgin wood fiber to enhance extra strength or smoothness of paper. So to completely dry out the pulp sheet, it is then passed through steam heated rollers with the temperature of 130 Fahrenheit to form long rows of continuous sheets of paper. Then finally the paper rolls are trimmed and shortened into smaller sheets and sent to the various manufacturers that need paper to produce their products. So that's all for my parts. I will pass the presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
My name is Nur Shahidah binti Shahidat and my number is 193925, and I am the last presenter, and I will be present about the suggestions to improve the waste from buffet restaurant. Okay, firstly, we can raise awareness to the public. Based on the statistics show, we can observe that pupils are ignoring with the statistic and they keep throwing the same amount of waste every day. They didn't realize any impacts of what they are doing, so we can raise awareness by sharing through social media such as Twitter, because nowadays it is more easy and quick to deliver messages if we use internet as medium. And then for the second improvement, we can develop recycling program. From waste, there are a lot of things that we can use for recycle, such as bottle or cans. Recycling programs can be started by encourage staff to participate. For example, we can give them any credit or appreciation if they can collect recycled items. Other than that, we should use reusable options with everything possible, such as bottle and jugs. And then next, we can reduce the amount of excessive packaging for takeaway. For example, we can reduce in cutlery or napkins. Besides, we can ask staff to distribute disposal items instead of placing them in self-service area. By taking this action, we can minimize the plastic waste and packaging waste in buffet restaurant. Furthermore, we can use multi-purpose cleaner in cleaning. In order to reduce the chemical waste, we should choose in concentrated forms to ensure that it can work as disinfectant surface area and leave them in germ-free. Next, we can develop a composting program. Compost consists of organic waste, such as wasted foods, and then we can add bulking agent, such as wood chips, to accelerate the breakdown of organic material and allow the finished material to fully stabilize and mature through a curing process. And then through compost process, it reduces the production of greenhouse gas, which is methane gas that will give impact on warming. And then for the wastewater treatment, we can ask the owner to install oil water separating. The function of oil water separating, it removes oil, grease, and hydrocarbon, and then leaving only the non-hazardous water. So the water can be disposed safely in the drain, and it will not give the negative impacts to the environment and humans. Next, we can create rules, which this is one of the ways to reduce the food waste, especially in buffet restaurant. Any leftover of food should be penalized or need to pay extra. Lastly, we can practice good stock control in order to minimize food waste. We can use first in, first out to control stock inventory. That's all from us. Thank you.